So first of all, the idea that we can only commit ourselves to behavior whose significance depends on its ability to change the world in a way that we can calculate is a very pretentious way to live. A good life, I think, means doing good things even if you're not sure that it's going to be worth it in some world-scale calculus. I, of course, engage in some of these things because I think that they're good for my own soul and my own body. I think it's good for me to learn where the food that comes into my body comes from and some of the labor that it takes to produce it. But I think it's important as a Christian to realize that the way life is that the future is made of extremely humble seeds in the present. God chooses an insignificant slave people as God's people. And then when God comes to us, it's as an extremely disempowered person in an occupied country who never leaves his homeland, who lives as a homeless guy, and who gets himself tortured to death by the imperial power of his day, but describes his own life as a seed that will fall to the ground and break open and flourish into something that the people of his day could scarcely imagine. And we're the products of that. You know, we're sitting here having this conversation 2,000 years later because there's something true about what Jesus said about his life. So there are all kinds of ways in which extremely humble things that people do today will grow to produce massive change, transformation of entire places, entire streams over generations of people's lives. Gray water is what you might call lightly used water, usually in your household. So it'd be water that comes from the shower, through bathing, a bathtub. There's nothing about that kind of use of water that makes it unfriendly to the soil, that should be channeled back into the soil after we use it so that the soil can clean it, which is what it does as it drains through the soil, and then it becomes usable to us once again when it comes out. So a lot of my mundane practices are about trying to learn my place, and in this part of the world, especially about learning to care differently for the water, the moisture of the place. So if you want something that's really a mundane practice, I don't pee in the toilet in my house. I don't ever pee in the toilet, except maybe in the middle of the night. Because why in the world would I send the water from my body straight to the ocean when the soil all around me needs the water from my body? So all the males in my household are required to pee in the yard. My neighbors think that we're completely nuts, probably, right? Because what we're called to as Christians fundamentally is to be neighbors, to live a neighborly life, which means to care for the creatures around you as a member of that community of creatures. And we can't do that if we're living in a way that is destructive of the place where we live. And the idea that we can, drain stuff out of our life with no concern whatsoever for the damage that it's going to do down the line to other places and to other people's bodies is just it's not a neighborly way to live. It's a destructive way to live.